Hello. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. Those of you that have joined so far anyway. How are we all doing? Great to see you. We got Steve-O in the chat already. Let me know who else is in. I'll give you some howdies as well. Oh, we got BetterBot. Welcome to the stream. Hello to you. Don't think I've seen you in the stream before. So, thank you very much for joining me, BetterBot. Please do let me know. Are you a new viewer or are you a subscriber of Crypto Saving Expert? What time we going for a curry? Oh, mate, I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. I'd love to go for a curry with you, Steve-O. I would love it, mate. What you get? We should do something in real life, me and you, Steve-O, soon. We should do something, mate. I would love to meet you in person. I would absolutely love it. So yeah, let's get it going. But what you get from the curry? Let's get the direction on US Open going. The poll. Let's get that. All the good stuff. We got BetterBot saying, yeah, I work nighttime. Oof. Well, mate, I assume probably you're in work tonight then. So I hope, anyway, that it's going to be a nice end to the week for you. Obviously, for everyone that's joined so far, welcome to the stream. Let me know in the comments who else we've got going. But yeah, should be a good stream today. We've got something quite good to look at. A little bit of a higher time frame view. And obviously, those of you that are in the CSE Plus Discord know that I covered it yesterday on the Town Hall. But I'll obviously be able to do it live for you. Subscribed a long time ago, just that I might be watching it live first time. Well, thank you very much for jumping in, BetterBot. It's great to see you, mate. And hopefully, you'll be able to come to the streams a lot more often. I am streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this channel now. So, I do hope to see you over here a lot more. And yeah, thank you very much for jumping in. Especially, obviously, while I assume you've either been sleeping or you're still yet to go to sleep. As you prepare for your night shift, mate. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. And yeah, hope to see you in the lives a lot more. We've got Gary, and it's great to see people coming over from STONKSY. So obviously, BetterBot, you may not have seen myself before. If you watch the YouTube videos, you may have seen one or two from myself up to now. Obviously, you'll probably be more used to Wiz doing the daily videos and the live streams, and obviously Spud as well. But I used to run the STONKSY channel. I don't know if you've heard of STONKSY, but basically I was running the STONKSY channel. And what we have done instead of just combined all efforts and combined all content into one channel instead of it being spread across two different ones, that channel is now being repurposed for kind of me to do different style of videos. Should be really good. We got John in as well. Great to see you. But yeah, Gary says, afternoon. I'm still out hoping for 50k dip. Yeah, you got out at. You actually. Do you know what, Gary? I actually remember when you sold. I remember when you sold, and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, was it about 84? Was it about 84? Anyway, I remember at the time, because we were stuck in that other consolidation range, wasn't we? You know, for zoom out, actually, let me just show you. Correct me if I'm wrong anyway, Gary, because obviously, your decision to sell at the time could have gone either way, couldn't it? Could have been really good or really bad. But obviously, it proved to be really good because, you know, even though we'd already suffered quite a drop off, you obviously managed to get some out before this second drop. But yeah, obviously I think it was in and around here, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong anyway, but obviously your decision proved to be good because, you know, I think we went on to drop about another 20-30% from there, haven't we? But you're hoping for 50, so I hope you get it, mate. I hope you get your bids filled. Who else we got? We got John Brown in. Welcome, John, absolute legend. We got Wiz. How are we doing, Wiz? Here he goes. Yes, mate. Great to see you. Obviously, do make sure you go and check out the CSE videos as well after the stream if you haven't. Wiz put another one up today. Obviously, Wiz does daily videos on the CSE channel. Check my one out as well from yesterday. And, you know, these are still relevant. You know, if you see these ones, oil surges on Trump's Iran plan, these are still relevant videos. So if you have missed the past couple of days, of course, do make sure you go and check them out because a lot of the stuff is still relevant. So yeah, if you're not watching or you haven't caught up on the daily videos, make sure you go and check Wiz's out from today. Check out the others that have been posted this week as well. Yeah, it'd be obviously great to get you guys commenting on them as well. Not heard of it before? Well, mate, I can definitely give you a little run through one time. Gary says, yeah. So, good decision from you, Gary. And we have Better Bot saying, I think the bottom will be in July. Well, I've actually got some evidence to run through on potentially when the bottom may come, when we're looking at previous cycles, Better Bot. So, it's actually quite good that you've said that, because that's exactly what we're going to be running through today. We've got Bosco in. Yes, Bosco, how are we doing? Morning to you, mate. Afternoon for me now. But yeah, great to see you. Do make sure you drop a like on all... make sure you all drop a like on the stream, please. But yeah, if you actually... This was actually covering it as well. Better Bot, now that you've said that, this was looking at, obviously, the halving. My video that I put up yesterday was looking at the halving, but also looking at previous cycles, which is what we're going to go and cover now, because I'm basically going to re-go through what I covered in the video yesterday. Let me just zoom out and obviously get rid of some of these drawings, because it's actually is going to be really interesting to look at now that you've said that. And obviously for anyone else wondering when the bottom may come, we can actually run through what the patterns suggest and obviously what the data suggests, and to see if this cycle is indeed going to be the same. So if you cast your mind back to last year, obviously there was lots of talk, wasn't there, about whether Bitcoin was going to break the 4-year cycle or whether it was going to keep the 4-year cycle. Obviously the highs coming in here was actually basically on point time frame wise with the typical 4-year cycle, and then of course we've plummeted over 50% from there. So far, even in this cycle, not even looking obviously back at the previous ones, it does suggest that we still are keeping to the 4-year cycle. You know, all the evidence is there to suggest that we are. So what we can do is potentially apply the same logic then to this next one that may be coming, because obviously we've had a deep retrace, so we can definitely say that if we do go up again, it would be part of a new cycle, in my opinion anyway. So we are 2 years out from the halving, if you didn't know. So 2 years out from the Bitcoin halving. It's not that long to go when you actually look at the cycle theory and looking at how Bitcoin behaves around the halvings. So what I have done here, the white lines represent the week where the halving came in, and the orange lines represent the 2-year point from before them two halvings. So basically the point that we're at now. So if we was going to look at this cycle, obviously this point right here would be the 2-year point, wouldn't it? So this would be the 2-year point, and then if we go and if we go and have a look, so let's get April 2028. Let's just bob it in there. Oh, hang on, need to select it there. If we bob that in there you go, April 2028, and make that white. So then obviously we've got the next one highlighted. Now we are at the point of 2 years away from the halving. Yes, Stu, how are we doing? Great to see you. So obviously we've got that one plotted out. So in terms of the previous cycles, yes, Sammy, how are we doing? We are at the orange point. When we're looking at the halving from 2020 and the halving from 2024, we are looking at the orange point. So we are at the orange point right now, bang on 2 years before the halving. So what can we look at and what can we obviously get from this? Now, if you did watch the video, let me know if you watched the video, because obviously you'll probably know exactly what I'm going to run through. And I won't spend too much time on it if quite a few of you have already watched the video, because obviously I don't want to make the live stream kind of just a repeat and a bit boring for you, even though you should just find it entertaining because I'm going through it anyway. But yeah, do let me know in the chat. So we are at that point right now, obviously 2 years before the halving, the orange line. So there's a few things that we can take from this, and also, you know, you can apply this. You could apply this logic if you think that Bitcoin is going to stick to the pattern, which so far it has stuck to the pattern, obviously even later in this cycle, because this was the high and we've plummeted. So it's stuck to the typical 4-year time frame. So what we can notice is, let's look at this one first. So we had the halving here, didn't we, in May 2020. So 2 years before was here. So 2 years. What happened 2 years before? We was in the midst of a bear market, wasn't we? We was in the midst of a bear market, but also, well, of course, we was around about midway through, or definitely chewing through that bear market, and we was approaching the bottom. Now, what I do want to note, guys, on this is I'm just going to put it here, and I'm just going to highlight it here with an arrow. What time are we ringing the bell? It's back open at 2:30, isn't it? It's back open at 2:30 now that the UK clocks have changed. And I'm going to highlight this here as well, and obviously we'll come to that a little bit in the video. So 2-year point here. We are making our way through the bear market. Bitcoin has topped out, and obviously we're witnessing it. We're witnessing a correction, and Bitcoin's going through the motions of a bear market. So the 2-year point in this cycle, we hadn't approached the bottom yet, but what we have done is got near it. So if you can see there, that is May 2018, 2 years before. Now what happened is, come the end of the year, November, December 2018, we had reached a bottom. So let me put that on here so that we can obviously remember and be able to annotate the chart that a bottom came in there. So it was towards the end of the year, you know, come right at the end of the year, bottom got put in. And then I'm just going to put that there as well, because I'm going to get onto that in a minute. So the bottom comes in, and then what happens is, obviously this comes shortly after the 2-year period. Bitcoin puts a bottom in. We then get a nice rally, and then of course Bitcoin kind of levels off, and then obviously COVID crash brings it back down, but it doesn't actually bring it back down all the way to the bottom. If you look there, Bitcoin bottomed in and around 3k, just under 3k, and the COVID crash actually brought it back down towards about 3.7. Are the markets closed as it's Easter long weekend? I don't think the US market is closed, is it? I don't know, actually. Someone let me know in the chat. Is US market closed? I don't think it is. I think US market is open today. So the Bitcoin bottom came in just after the 2-year point, you know, about 6 months or so after the 2-year point. The Bitcoin bottom comes, Bitcoin goes on a run, pulls back, but then obviously the actual halving comes, and then of course it shoots for the stars, doesn't it? So that's that cycle. We then move on to the next cycle. So obviously this was the one that we've just been through, isn't it? So halving in April 2024. 2-year point before, and like you'll see, exactly the same as this, Bitcoin is in the midst of a bear market. So like this point, pulls back, 2-year points, halfway through ish the bear market, bottom comes end of the year of that year. Again, Bitcoin high, pulls back, 2-year point. What happens? Bitcoin is still in a bear market, so has another leg down to go. But notice what happens in terms of date again. So this was obviously May 2018. The bottom comes in November/December 2018. April 2022. Where does the bottom come? November into December 2022. So in terms of them time frames, it's absolutely bang on. Exactly the same mirror image in terms of time frames and what happens around each time. So that is exactly the same. And then obviously, much like this one, Bitcoin rallies into the halving, albeit this one rallied a lot more because of obviously we had the ETFs, we had a lot more catalysts. But again, then obviously halving comes, Bitcoin rallies, halving comes, Bitcoin actually pulls back a bit more. Again, it's a different cycle, different factors. But obviously in the kind of year afterwards, Bitcoin then rallies to multiple new highs, and you know, off the bottom, an absolute banker of a 5, 6, 7x. So that's what we're looking at there. These two cycles are exactly the same. Now, of course, comes the fun point, because does potentially it repeat again? Everything is stuck to the same, and it. The only difference is this cycle is obviously we created a new all-time high before the halving. So that kind of obviously broke some kind of cycle theory, didn't it? But apart from that, everything has remained the same. So let me know in the chat, do you think the bottom is already in, or do you not? Because potentially, what we could be having is, if it sticks to the same time frame, we could get a bottom form anywhere in here. And I'll pull it up because obviously everyone's going to have a subjective view of where the Bitcoin bottom is going to be. But does potentially the end of the year once again line up exactly the same and bring us a Bitcoin bottom exactly the same as the past two cycles? Let me know in the chat what you guys think. There we go. So that is the potential. Obviously, if this proves to be a bottom and this is the macro bottom and that's it, done, then obviously fair dues and good, because then, you know, we can start resuming higher then, can't we? Hopefully. If not, and we do have one more leg down to go, then it does potentially line up exactly the same as here, exactly the same as here, where just after the 2-year point, we get the 2-year point, and again it's the same in it, because if you look at this, where is Bitcoin after the 2-year point? It's in the midst of a bear market, exactly the same as the past 2 cycles. When is that? So if we're looking at obviously the same as the last 2 cycles, BetterBot, it would be the end of the year. But again, this is just all theory. We're just looking at the past 2 cycles, and that's obviously what is giving us the data to suggest it. Doesn't mean that it's going to be true. I know you said a bottom. You're thinking a bottom in July. A bottom in July could happen, because there's nothing to say that we have to obviously keep to the same time frame, and everything cycle-wise will stay the same forever. It may not do, but obviously if we're looking at the point in which Bitcoin's at, in and around the past 2 cycles, then we could potentially, if we stick to the same and we create a bottom after that 2-year point into the end of the year, then we could see a potential bottom come at the end of the year. So let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Obviously that is kind of like my point of evidence, but then what you obviously want to focus on, and this is what I said in the video. So what I said in the video was, obviously we've already pulled back 50%. So kind of the time to be bearish and the time to be kind of fearful and everything, in my opinion, obviously it's not financial advice, but in my opinion, has kind of sailed. Because what you want to do now, if you didn't sell up here and you kind of missed it, we've already witnessed a 52% pullback to the bottom. Obviously if we pull back to current price, still 47%, that's massive, isn't it? So kind of like missed, the opportunity to sell up here, definitely. So what you want to try and do with being 2 years, you are covering it. Yes. Yeah. US market is closed today. Is it? Ah, well, there we go then. There we go, Bosco. Well, US market's closed. I didn't know if they did Good Friday in America or not. I didn't know if they did Good Friday in America. So yeah, that's obviously what we can be looking at. But obviously what we want to focus on is the fact, and again, this comes into looking at the halvings and looking at the cycles. Bitcoin bottoms, if we look at the patterns, way before the halving. Bitcoin bottomed here way before the halving. Bitcoin bottomed here way before the halving. So what we want to obviously see as well, does Bitcoin bottom again way before the halving? If that's true, then we may go on some form of rally into 2028. So kind of what you want, in my opinion anyway, and again, it's not financial advice, but in my opinion, Jesus loves you, and you as well, my friend, and you as well, is wanting to start to kind of shift your mindset to the point of, if we do indeed get, say another leg down on Bitcoin, let's just say for example, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but let's just say for an example, say we get 15%, 20%, maybe even 30, 35%, who knows. But the main thing obviously you want to be looking at is the point of how can you take advantage of that, because obviously we're not too far away from the next cycle. And if we're sticking to the same cycle theory, if that proves true, again, we may not do, and we may be on kind of like a new time frame and a whole new structure to Bitcoin's high time frame price action. But if we do stick to the cycle theory, then we will bottom and then already begin the recovery going into the halving. So that actually doesn't give it too much time, does it? Because if you look, obviously this run went on. Particularly that was fantastic, wasn't it? Obviously it pulled back for the COVID crash, but that went on a good run. Obviously this one was fantastic all the way up to an all-time high pre-halving. Fantastic. What we want to be focusing on is, how do you take advantage of a potential last, one more leg down, or just in general this time frame going into the halving? Because come kind of the end of the year, we would then be on the trajectory of previous halvings, where Bitcoin then starts to take an uptrend going into the 2028 halving. So the kind of time to be bearish, in my opinion, come the end of the year, will have sailed. Because, what's the point in staying bearish when prices retraced 50%, 60%, 70, 75, whatever it may be, depending on if we do get another leg down or not. Because the next halving is coming, and it's going to come no matter what. And typically Bitcoin puts in a bottom long before the next halving. So Whether this proves to be the bottom, or if we get a bottom down here or down here, what we want to be focusing on is how can you take advantage of that for a potential start of the next cycle going into the halving, and then of course halving comes and then potentially up there like that, wherever you think it may go. So that is kind of like my evidence and obviously my thought process. That is basically like a very quick summary of what this video was yesterday and what I went through. Let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm talking rubbish? Do you think I'm talking sense? What do you guys think? Do you think Bitcoin's already kind of macro bottomed, or do you think now that I've presented this, do you think, wow, that looks eerily similar and we might get the same again? Let me know what you think in the chat. I'd love to hear what you think now that I've put that forward. Now do remember, obviously I'm not putting this forward to try and change your view or try and influence you at all in terms of investing or financially. It's just obviously something really good to cover with how Bitcoin looks and how much the pattern has just kept on. But yeah, please do let me know what you think in the chat, because I think it looks remarkably similar. You know, you look at this cycle here, you then look at this cycle, and then you look at what Bitcoin's doing right now. It's remarkable how similar it looks from that halving to halving to 2 year to 2 year point. It looks unbelievably similar. So that's what I think. And obviously, in terms of an actual bottom or whatever, you know, we don't have a crystal ball. It would be great to know it, you know, for certain where Bitcoin bottoms. But what may be a better outlook is potentially looking at time frame instead of guesswork. Because, you know, could this be a bottom? Sure. Could 50k be a bottom? Sure. Could 40k be a bottom? Sure. But what we could look at in terms of time frame is we may know the time frame in which Bitcoin puts in a bottom wherever it may come, and then obviously look to then take advantage of the rally into the halving, the rally after the halving, and then rinse and repeat next cycle. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That was really good to run through. And what will be interesting is what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and leave this chart completely untouched. So I'm just going to try and leave this chart completely untouched, and it'll just be fascinating to see the weekly candles, you know, just go over, tick over and over and over until the end of the year, and see if indeed it does work out to the point where, you know, we may get one last leg down, maybe we don't. But then say if price is still hanging, say price comes up from here, you know, say price comes up from here, and then at the end of the year comes back down and maybe touches that 60k barrier again into the end of the year, then that might be, you know, that might be the sign for a bottom. Doesn't necessarily mean that we just have to go, you know, another leg down. We may come up, and then, you know, maybe if we come back down, you know, kind of November, December time, and we hit 60k again, then maybe that is the thing to say, okay, right, well, there we go. And then let's look now for the next kind of 1.5 to 2 years. Very good analysis. Thank you, Better Bot. That is very kind of you, my friend. I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. So yeah, that's kind of like my little interlude on the halvings. I did a video about it yesterday. Obviously, if you want to go watch it, go watch it. But there are some shorts going up on the CSE account as well. So there's a short clipped out of that video going up on the CSE account at 3 o'clock on the X account. So if you do want kind of a condensed version, or you could just obviously rewatch this part of the stream, it's up to yourself. I agree. I like that, Dave. Yes, Gary. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I noticed it, and I thought I have a duty to bring this to the fine viewers of the CSE stream. I couldn't not, mate. I couldn't not bring it to the CSE stream. So that's where we're at with that. Obviously, if anyone wants me to go over it again, more than happy to do that. Let's go look. So obviously, US market is closed today. So I'm told by Bosco anyway. But obviously, futures are still ticking over, and we still have S&P 500 futures, which were plummeted yesterday, like 1.5%, and then just bounced back up yesterday afternoon. So it literally just did a V reversal. fell off a cliff overnight into the morning, and then afternoon come and it just completely V-reversed. So that was a bit of a whirlwind yesterday on that. But yeah, futures are still ticking over. Oil still ticking over. I think I might need a new ticker for that, because I think that one is not running. Let's see. Yeah, so in terms of oil, this ticker isn't running until Monday. So yeah, indeed, the stock market is closed today. So thank you for that information, Bosco. It was because I had no idea. So yeah, obviously all these are now on a break until Monday. So we've got nothing apart from S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq futures, and obviously any other futures that are still trading, and then crypto. So Bitcoin's kind of on its own now until Monday, which is fascinating, really, for where it's at. It'll be fascinating to see what happens over the weekend. But yeah, we got obviously Solana sub 80. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at that from last stream. That was literally pinpoint taken from last stream. Look at that. Let's go and have a look at this thing on the 4 hour. There you go. Literally just pinpoint. Look at the levels drawn out from last stream. And these were also put in like a CSE newsletter and stuff like that over the past couple weeks. But literally, you know, break below grey level. Bang. Right to the bottom of the other grey level. Tick. Done. So that was from Wednesday's stream, that looking at them two grey boxes. But yeah, I mean, Solana's at a fascinating point, because it's basically at demand now. And obviously if it goes any lower, it's then going to start filling in this wick. So, pretty interesting stuff, I think. Obviously ETH, we come up again. Rejected, didn't we? Off resistance. In terms of ETH, actually, well, we have got, obviously, these are kind of like now the wider range levels of interest. But what you actually do have, if you notice on ETH, let me just go back. You've got this point here. Look at this nice bit of SR we've got here, low time frame. Look at that. You got it as support, come below, resistance, pull back into the other grey box, bounce up, again, push through, use it as support, pushed up, rejected off this point, come back down, support. So that's a nice little bit of like kind of in range SR that you can use on ETH for sure. That's looking nice, some really nice price action around it, and that kind of separates it, doesn't it, from like obviously breakdown here, back into there, pull back into here and bounce up to here, which is exactly what it's done, you know, the whole time since it's been using this point as SR. So nice little bit on ETH as well there, if you hadn't noticed that. You know, nice little bit of SR in range while we're waiting, obviously, for, you know, we've had one crack of support there, haven't we? And then that's actually, is that today? No, sorry, yesterday. Forgot what day it was then. Obviously Wednesday and Thursday, again, cracked resistance, rejected. So ETH's proven, I mean, as far as a trading aspect goes, if you do like to just slam price between support and resistance, it's been fantastic on Bitcoin, Solana and ETH, hasn't it? It's been absolutely superb. Just a chance to just slam price between support and resistance until one breaks. It's literally just been ping pong non-stop. But yeah, that's where we're up to with that anyway. If you do want me, let me know if you want me to cover any other altcoins. We've got Hype here. Oh, obviously potentially breaking down on Hype. Tell you what, it's blowing a gale outside. Sounds very, very windy. Sounds very windy, actually. I wonder, oh, it sounds like it's chucking it down. It was actually quite nice this morning as well. But yeah, in terms of height, well, maybe we're getting a little bit of a breakdown there. If you see, we've got kind of pushed through support, haven't we? This was obviously used as support. We've pushed through and come up, Is that potentially an underside rejection? It could well be. If that's an underside rejection on hype, then kind of like down towards 33.5, 33 maybe next for hype. And then obviously if we sink below there, back down towards 30, looks reasonable. So yeah, interesting on hype, live on stream. Maybe we're getting a little bit of underside rejection on that. Of course, again, remember, it's not financial advice. But very interesting to see that on hype. And again, you know, over the weekend, be interesting to see where this goes. If we do regain this region as support, then, you know, maybe we can bounce all the way back up here on some positive Bitcoin price action. But if this is an underside rejection now, price is starting to break down, maybe we trade into here or even here. Fascinating. Fascinating. Yes, Jeff. How are we doing? It's good to see you as well, mate. It's great to see everyone over from the STONKSY channel. It's great to see everyone come over. So yourself, Gary, Bosco, who else have we had? We've had a few of, obviously Steve, but I'm guessing Steve has been just watching the CSE channel anyway. John, you know, plenty of people come over from the STONKSY channel, so great to see you guys over here now. Jeff, mate, I'm sorry to tell you, but you missed an incredible first part of the stream, you know. You missed an incredible first part of the stream. Not to blow my own trumpet or anything, but the analysis that I went over, mate, it was top draw. Honestly, go back and watch the start of the stream after I finish. Have we smashed the likes yet? You tell me. I can't see the like ratio anymore. How many likes have we got on the stream? You tell me. Pardon me. That was awful. I'll go back and rewatch. I'll tell you what. I'll pull it up, mate, and I'll just give you a little preview. This is what we were looking at. And obviously very similar. I don't know if you watched my video yesterday or not. Don't worry, you can be honest with me. I'm not going to be mad if you didn't. But this is what we were looking at. The cycle patterns from the last two going into this one. Little hint there for you, and anyone else as well. Anyone else that wasn't here at the start of the stream. This is what we were looking at. Obviously following on and discussing obviously my video from yesterday, looking at exactly this, the halving and the patterns on the halving. Did a full nice little first kind of like 20 minutes on it. On this, basically looking at the halving, which is the white line, the 2 years before, which is the orange line, what comes towards the end of the year previously, both times, and then obviously then what happens going into the next halving. But obviously focusing on kind of where does Bitcoin typically bottom when we're looking at that kind of 2 year point onwards, going into the halving. So yeah, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet too much, but in the words of Better Boss, he said very good analysis, so I'll take that every day of the week. So if you did miss the start of the stream, yeah, go rewatch it at the end. Honestly, I think it'll be worth your time for sure. But yeah, in terms of Bitcoin, I can't see on the screen on my phone what is the price range you have mapped out. It's not necessarily a price range, mate. It's more looking at the time frame, basically just highlighting the end of the year. That is basically just to cover all bases. So obviously, like, where we've already bottomed currently, and then just down to like 40k. If you believe we go below 40k, it doesn't really matter. This isn't necessarily like highlighting a price bottom. It's more so looking at the time. So, you know, anywhere in there, looking at that time frame of kind of like Q4, you know, the last couple months of the year. If, you know, kind of we follow on the same pattern as the previous two. So that's what it's focusing on, rather than an actual price point. But in terms of Bitcoin, like now, like right now, we don't really have too much, do we? Like we're still in this range. We're still testing down towards support. I think if we break support, here, then obviously it could get potentially quite nasty. Coming for these lows, and you know, the 60k low potentially. So that's obviously only if we break down and get an underside rejection and then follow through. If we just come down and sweep that low and then reclaim, it's not the end of the world at all. But that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin anyway. There's not much change at all. We're still just obviously in this range, waiting for just anything to happen. Just anything. Give us anything. Oh, it's chucking it down outside. I can hear it. It is chucking it down. So yeah, that's where we're up to anyway on Bitcoin. Not really much to update apart from that. It's just still trading in the range, still going through the motions. And yeah, there's not much else to update apart from that. Let's see what's going on in the world, because obviously what we want to do is keep a close eye on what is happening in the world. Let's see. Iran and Oman drafting protocol to monitor the Strait of Hormuz. The cost to fly private is up as much as 20%. There we go. Oh, we had NFP, didn't we? So US payrolls rose by 178,000. That was obviously NFP today. I'm guessing NFP today, even though markets are closed, aren't they? US markets closed today, by the way. According to Crypto Crew University, we will have at least one massive crash, but he is not telling the days. Well, that's easy, innit? That's easy for someone to do that better bot, innit? I think, anyway. I think it's easy for someone to just say, guys, we're going to have a massive crash at some point in the next year. Great. Like, what is that supposed to prepare you for? I've actually gone and provided, like, previous data, pinpointed dates, shown you the examples, shown you, like, the patterns, and actually gave you something tangible to make a prediction on. Again, of course, it's not certain. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But if I just stood here on stream and said to you, right, guys, we're going to have a massive crash at some point in the next year, what value does that provide to you? It doesn't do anything, does it? Like, that doesn't give you anything to latch onto, apart from we may go up first and then we may come all the way back down, or we may just go down at some point. I think it's, you know, it's better to provide actual evidence rather than just throwing, because if you throw 1,000 darts at a dartboard, you're going to hit a bullseye probably once, aren't you? So I could come on here, you know, every single stream and go, right, guys, you've got to prepare yourself. Massive crash coming, massive crash. Could go up to 90k first before we make another leg down. And what am I supposed to say all the way up to 90k? Guys, trust the process, don't worry. Better to use actual data on the chart, in my opinion anyway. And of course, that's no shade to whoever Crypto Crew University is. Personally, I'm not familiar with them. That's not throwing any shade or negativity towards them. I assume probably, you know, they make some good content and stuff. But just obviously what you've told me is where obviously someone's not telling the data. Personally, I just think it's better to actually look at the data and look at patterns and actually give you something with reason, without just throwing wild accusation there and not giving you any evidence to back it up. But yeah, we did have NFP, yeah, which came in massive, didn't it? Look at that. Didn't have any reaction on Bitcoin. None. You are the best. Oh, my friend. You are too kind, BetterBot. Tell you what, you're too kind. For a first-time viewer, mate, you're really making your way up the ladder. Thank you very much for your kind words. Anyway, let's see. Oh, there we go again. Trump threatens to destroy Iranian infrastructure. Let's see what's going on here now. He said the weekly death cross in Bitcoin. It's problem with that is it's a delayed indicator. That so it's a delayed indicator, much like the halving. You know, much like the halving proves to be a delayed indicator. By the time you get to the halving, typically the bottom has already come and Bitcoin has already begun an uptrend. The death cross is kind of like anticipated, like, in my opinion, again, months and months. If you actually go and look at the death cross on the chart, Bitcoin normally, like, it's already begun a downtrend and stuff, like, way before the death cross happens. It's like the Golden Cross. The Golden Cross is the same. But Trump threatens to destroy Iranian infrastructure, saying its government knows what has to be done. Bloody hell. Here we go. So Donald Trump. There we go. Is it? Yeah, Donald Trump has threatened Iranian bridges and power plants as rhetoric escalated. His words come as a recently constructed bridge near Tehran was destroyed in an airstrike. China, Russia and France vetoed a resolution calling for military action against the country. But he says the new regime leadership knows what has to be done and has to be done fast. So yeah, there we go. It hasn't even started destroying what's left in Iran. Bridges next, then electric power plants. Holy hell. Yeah, so there we go. With a little more time, we can easily open the Hormuz Strait, take the oil and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world. I tell you what though, it's just like constant back and forth, innit? Like one day they'll be saying, oh, we want peace talks and we're talking about peace. Then the other party will say, no, that's not happening. And then Trump will come back and say, right, we're just going to blitz the place up. Like, it's just constant back and forth. And it just seems like it's complete rubbish most of the time. Thanks again. I got to go get some rest. Mate, thank you very much for joining. Honestly, I appreciate you. I hope to see you on Monday's stream, BetterBot. Thank you, mate. Some industries grapple with lingering effects 1 year later. That's on the tariffs. Chinese chip firms hit record high revenue driven by the AI boom. Chasing vibes. OpenAI's M&A strategy gets more confusing. US Army Chief of Staff fired by Hegseth. Wow. South Korea, France agreed to deepen defense cooperation amid Middle East conflict. There's not really much else, is there? Sets up 100% tariffs on some imported drugs. There's not much else apart from just more Iran developments. Apart from that, there's not really much else going on in the world. Doesn't seem like it anyway. Anything on here? Let's see. This is an interesting one. Let's see. $80 million hyperliquid whale bets against Bitcoin and stocks, but history raises doubts. A hyperliquid whale has placed an $80 million leveraged bet against Bitcoin and equities while going long oil, but the whale's history of losses cast doubt on the trade. Here we go, the trade. Short crypto, long oil. So the whale constructed a 80 million leveraged position. The trade includes a $40 million short on Bitcoin futures near 68,760 and a smaller $2 million short on synthetic S&P exposure and a $37 million long on Brent crude oil. The combined leverage sits at approximately 7x, signaling strong conviction in a directional move. So he's liquidated on Bitcoin at 80k and Brent on $93. That's risky going into the weekend, that, innit? Do you not think? Like doing a trade like that when we got a long weekend on the markets. I mean, he's on hyperliquid, so obviously the hyperliquid oil will keep trading. But I think it's risky, that. I mean, how much margin has he got on that? He'll have a massive amount of margin, won't he? He'll have like probably about $12 million of margin. Fascinating. If you obviously do want to have a read of this story, it's on Crypto Saving Expert. Let's have a look at the next one. Stablecoin volume overtakes US payments network in milestone moment. Stablecoin transaction volume has surpassed that of the US ACH network for the first time. So this sounds like a big deal. I'll be honest, I don't know what the US ACH network is. But they've crossed the line. If you expected this quickly. So 30-day transaction volume reached 7.2 trillion in February, surpassing the automated clearing house. Who the F has 80 million to throw at the market? Just retire and go away. Even 12 million, go away. Yeah, I mean, if I had $12 million, I definitely wouldn't be putting it on a single trade. That's for sure, mate. I agree. I agree. Wild, innit? So yeah, that overtook that. So yeah, I mean, stable coins. I think alongside Bitcoin, I think stable coins seem like they're generating the most interest from TradFi. Even like over ETH. I think it probably goes Bitcoin and then stable coins in terms of like just TradFi interest in crypto. Yes, James. Hello, mate. Only dropping in to say hi briefly, then back to it. Mate, I've not seen you in the chat for ages. How the devil are you? It's great to see you, my favourite ginger. How are you doing, mate? I hope all is well. And I hope you're going to have a nice Easter weekend, too. I hope you're going to have a nice Easter weekend. Riot sells $289 million in Bitcoin as miner capitulation builds. So Riot, so obviously this comes after Marathon sold, or what are they called now? Mara Holdings. I think they rebranded and they're not called Marathon Digital Holdings anymore. I think they're called Mara Holdings or something. Anyway, so Riot sold that much Bitcoin in Q1 as energy costs and market pressure forced miners to liquidate holdings. So they sold at an average price of 76, so obviously better price than currently. Despite the sell-off, Riot holds 15,680 Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Also flagged a 500 Bitcoin outflow this week. Riot is not alone. Yeah, obviously there's the thingo from the Mara sell. And it's interesting to see them selling, because obviously I know Wiz has talked about this a lot. I'm good, been incredibly busy, no time to think. Well, that's the best thing to do, mate, innit? When you've got time to think, that's when you that's when bad things happen and you start gambling in the market, I suppose. But yeah, it's interesting to see, because obviously I know Wiz has talked about this a lot, where Bitcoin miners are basically perfectly positioned to just change into AI data centers if they wanted to. So it's actually quite interesting to see, obviously, Mara selling some, Riot selling some, because in terms of like their infrastructure and their hardware and how their operations are set up, they are basically just perfectly positioned to go, let's offload some of this hardware and usage into AI, because basically they've just got a ready built data center pretty much. Which is fascinating, because obviously that's not good news for obviously the Bitcoin mining side of things. If miners do just start to capitulate completely on Bitcoin and go, right, there's more money in AI, let's pivot to AI fully. Obviously that's when you start to lose some of the big miners. Doesn't mean that's going to happen, but obviously we've seen them sell, but we've seen this before, haven't they? They're basically just selling to cover operational costs until Bitcoin picks up again, you would think. But yeah, apart from that, there's not much really going on. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, the STONKSY channel has now had a rebrand. It's still yet to have some more of the rebrand, but it's now rebranded into Meet Dave. So obviously still a profile picture rebrand, still a banner, and there is now going to be a new Twitter. So the STONKSY Twitter is going to stay the same. That is still going to be putting out STONKSY content, talking about STONKSY, all that good stuff, while we are just moving everything content-wise over to the CSE channel, which we're on now. Obviously, this is now going to be repurposed for me to do like different types of videos, more handheld videos at my desk, talking about the market, doing all sorts of type of videos. Could get my whiteboard up and do like kind of like standing discussion based things on the whiteboard, all sorts of things. But it's basically going to be like more so a personal kind of like outlook on the markets, where I can stand here, just phone up to my face, record, and just chat to you guys, talk about the markets, talk about what's going on. So yeah, that should be good, but obviously you'll see that now. And obviously you'll see more of that next week. Hopefully we'll get things cracking on that next week. But yeah, in terms of the market, not much going on. Obviously we've got, a drop off on things. What altcoin are people most interested in? So forget about ETH, Solana, Hype, BNB. Kind of forget about the top like 5 or 6 altcoins. What altcoin is most of you guys interested in? What about a Dav mukbang? You eating fish and chips, baby? Could do. Definitely could do that, mate. Yeah, definitely. Fish and chips Friday, free chippy Friday. We could definitely do that. Yeah, I'll put that on the list, mate. I'll put that on the list for sure. There's a nice chippy near me as well. I don't go to it that often, but it's a good excuse to go. So I'll definitely put that on the list, mate. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, any ideas like that, I'm more than welcome to taking on your guys' ideas and doing it. Again, could be a lot more of like in real life content. What I really want to do as well is I want to do like active boots on the ground journalism. So what would have been good if this rebrand would have happened a couple weeks ago would be to like me take myself off to like the headquarters of like Shell, BP, the energy providers, but more so focusing on the fuel side of things in the UK. I actually did have a look where some are. Like Shell's is down south in London. One's in Glasgow. But I kind of want to do like some boots on the ground journalism and boots on the ground kind of like videos like that as well on the channel. Where like we get like an exploding topic. Like obviously the recent fuel one. And I go, right, let's get myself down to the headquarters or to the base of operations of this place. Let me go and film outside it. Maybe try and get inside it. Try and talk to people outside. That's kind of like, that's what proper interests me the most, is like doing like real life, in person, boots on the ground journalism. Obviously, be great doing the video stood at my desk and that, but if we can get obviously some topics like that, like the recent fuel one, and I can go and do some kind of like boots on the ground journalism, oh, that'd be unbelievable. Lee, how we doing? Afternoon, the boys. How are we? Good, mate. I'm good. Do make sure as well, obviously James, Lee, anyone else that's joined in the stream, make sure you go back to the start of the stream when you get a minute, because the first kind of 20 minutes covered a massive thing on Bitcoin. I'll basically give you a quick, because I know James, you've not seen this, and obviously Lee, you've just come in. Basically looking at the Bitcoin cycle and pinpointing this really interesting pattern that happens with it. But it's definitely worth your time. It's about 20 minutes. I did cover it in the video yesterday as well, but gave it a little bit of a different view on it as well on stream today. But basically looking at how Bitcoin behaves around the halvings, which are the white lines, and then the 2-year point, which is the 2 year before the halvings, which is the orange lines. And obviously what happens then shortly after the 2 year point, and then obviously then running into the halving, and then obviously thereafter. But the pattern is unbelievable. Like literally, if I go over it quickly again, like orange line 2 years before, each time, and this is now on 3 different occasions, Bitcoin 2 years before the halving, right bang on 2 years before the halving, Bitcoin has been in a bear market. Obviously the 2 times that we know of have then seen another leg down come at the end of the year. So at the end of 2018 there you can see 2 year point, May 2018, end of the year, bottom comes, done. Bitcoin starts to then rally into the halving. Again, 2 year point, another leg down comes, bottom comes, end of the year, bottom's in, starts to rally into the end of the halving. Obviously we don't know if we're going to get another leg down or not. That remains to be seen. But what we do know is Bitcoin is currently, or if you think the bottom's in, has already completed a bear market, because we've done minus 50% from all-time highs. So Bitcoin's had a strong pullback. Whether it gets another leg down or not, we'll have to wait and see. But come the end of the year, do we follow the same thing where at the end of the year, going into the, you know, that kind of like 18-month period before the halving, is the bottom then in? And then obviously we do the same that we've done the 2 previous times, where we start to grind up into the halving. Be fascinating to see, but you know, definitely in my opinion worth a watch. It's kind of first 20 minutes of the stream. But yeah, I do very much like that piece of analysis. I'll be honest, I enjoyed putting that together. Obviously James, Lee, anyone else that's recently jumped in. Apart from that, Bitcoin's not doing much. Do remember as well, US market's closed today, so we've literally just got futures trading for the S&P and Nasdaq and obviously other futures. But it's basically just crypto that's actively trading today. But yeah, that's kind of where we're up to. So that's pretty much it. Not really much else. I do hope, obviously it's Good Friday, so happy Good Friday to everyone. Do make sure, drop a big like on the stream. And of course, if you are one of them lucky people that benefits from a 4-day weekend and you're off today, or maybe you're working today and you're off Monday, or if you're not off any of them, just enjoy your weekend in general. If you are one of them lucky people that have got a 4-day weekend, then enjoy it. Obviously, just enjoy your weekend in general. I will still be streaming on Monday, so I'll see you on Monday. Committed to the cause, committed to the content, and yeah, have a good one. And yeah, I'll see you all then. Thanks for joining. Bye for now.